Do you pick up the phone to call your leads if you're selling final expense? Ask yourself that question. Do you pick up the phone every week to set up appointments, to call your leads? And if so, are you 100% compliant with doing that? It's amazing, guys, to see how many field agents and just even phone agents in general are not in compliance with the law. And what am I talking about? The first one is the Do Not Call National Registry. Okay? The Do Not Call National Registry. That's the registry that protects people from having solicitors call them. So if you're calling your leads, are you in compliance? And let me share with you exactly how you are in compliance and how do you know you are, just right off the top. When you buy a lead, the law states that if that person requested that funeral insurance quote from you, then you have 90 days where you can call them on the phone, send them any kind of electronic information without having to check the Do Not Call registry. So that means if Mrs. Betty is on the Do Not Call registry, but she called into a TV commercial, Facebook, filled out a direct mail, she's given us permission to call her, and we do not have to check the registry. But what happens after 90 days? A lot of field guys, they have the direct mail piece in their hands. Hey, and if you're a door knocker, you can knock on that lead as much as you want. The key here is if you're picking up the phone. So what happens after 90 days from the origination of the lead? Well, you have to check the National Do Not Call registry to see if Mrs. Betty is on that list. Because, guys, if she is on that registry that protects her, and you're calling her on day 91, and for whatever reason she gets upset and files a complaint against you for violating her rights, that could be a fine of $41,000 per violation. Now, business to business, that doesn't matter. This is our business to a client. That's when that rule applies. And I see so many field agents and even telephone agents that are totally disregarding the FCC and the Do Not Call registry every single day. Simply because I ask them, if they call their leads to set up appointments, are they in compliance? And a lot of these field guys, they all say no, no, no. And if you're doing that right now, I would recommend that you do your homework, talk to your upper management, and ask them how old the leads are. Ask them if they are in compliance, because if you get caught calling a lead on the Do Not Call registry, that can be a major fine for you. Dialers. You know, currently we're working on our new dialer and CRM program with Jordan Stupart from Sales Domination. And it's really exciting because there's so much to building a custom CRM. You know, for many years, I've worked with CRMs from Leads Rain to Five9 to Vonage. And I can never get a CRM that allowed me to do everything. From dialing to sending messages to sending video. I mean, the CRM we have right now, it's really, really good. VanillaSoft is a great CRM organization. But I got to say, with Sales Domination, we're taking it to a whole different level under one roof. But through talking with Jordan and our team about telephone sales, the rules that govern it, you know, a lot of you guys out there that are on the phones, another thing you guys are doing that's violating the FCC and our telemarketing rules is the abandonment laws. And let me explain this to you. We've had some agents that have joined us and they've seen what we do. and we use a preview dialer. So every lead that we see, we see it before we dial. So we know exactly the lead that's being dialed. It's a preview dialer. And as far as we get is progressive dialer, where we'll dial 1 or 2 or 3 numbers at the same time so we can reach more people. But abandonment laws, guys, for those of you guys that are running a dialer, and I understand, it sounds great, but the dialer can be a major liability for you if you're using it. And let me explain this to you. A lot of you believe that to be as efficient as possible, just dial thousands of numbers throughout the day in the dialer, so you're not wasting time. So a lot of guys have a dialer where that they load in 5,000, 10,000 phone numbers, and then for every time they're dialing, hundreds of numbers are dialing. Hundreds. And a lot of you guys aren't recognizing this. So imagine, the abandonment law states that if you abandon more than 3% of the phone calls, and that means that the phone rings, and when Miss Betty gets to the phone, there's nobody there, or there's a major waiting time before somebody takes that call. 3%. So imagine if you got 100 numbers in your dialer and you blast them all at the same time, which is what those dialers do, predictive dialers do. If more than 3 people pick up that phone and you're on the phone with somebody else and it's more than 3 people, 3%, you can be out of compliance and can be at risk of being fined from the FCC. So it's not just about having a dialer and going to town because you want to be more efficient. It's about making sure that every single time that you dial a number, you are being accountable. You are staying within the guidelines of the telemarketing rules. Because if you're not, you can be at risk of a major fine. The telephone has presented itself to be an amazing tool for us, but we got to learn the guidelines behind it, or else it's not a matter if we get caught, it's a matter of when we get fined for not following those guidelines. And I'll tell you what, if you have a great CRM system like what we have and we're building right now with Jordan, where every single lead is accounted for, every single lead has a timeline that tells you when you can call and when you can't call. So if you find yourself right now in the field or in the phone and you're on a dialer, ask yourself, am I following the guidelines? If you're in the field and you're buying a bunch of old leads or you don't even know the origination of the lead, ask yourself the same question. What I will do is I will put the FCC's website that covers all of this so you can see it and read it for your own eyes. And once you do, go to your upline manager and tell them if you're in compliance. And if you're not, I recommend you stop picking up the phone because the FCC has really stepped up their efforts to get people that are out of compliance. So guys, with that said, let's be smart about our business. It's not always about maximizing our sales, but we also need to make sure that we're following the rules, because what good is it to write all this business and then we get fined by the government? And I always say this, none of us have enough money like the government does to fight. The government has deep, deep pockets, more than you. And why even go against a battle with the government? Instead, follow the guidelines that govern telephone sales, and we won't have that issue. If you guys want to learn more about it, please feel free to call me. We're on the phones every single day doing this, and we make sure that our program is 100% compliant, so we never have an issue like this. Also, on the 15th, we'll be doing our drawing for this month. We're giving away $400 to the place of your choice. Last month, Mr. Luis Arambulo from Yuba City, California, won the prize of $350, which included a headset. So congratulations to Luis once again. So enjoy your day, and let's make this week amazing. Peace.